Oh no. I don't have my water. It's not good. Okay. I think we're chilling. Oh, I don't want you to do that. What's good? What's good? What's good? The kitchen sink beckons? What do you mean a kitchen sink? What's wrong with my kitchen sink? You don't even know what my kitchen sink looks like. You don't even know what it looks like. What's up? What's going on? Aren't you thirsty? I am. Hold on, I gotta get my water. All right, let's turn this down a little bit. It's getting a little out of hand. Music's getting a little out of hand. Oh man. Hey, legendary drops, would you still love us if we somehow became literate? No. Let me do all the reading for you. I'll translate. I'll translate. What story do you have to share with us? Ooh, quite the adventure, that's for sure. Quite the adventure, that's for sure. Drops enabled. Legendary drops are always enabled. You never know. You just never know. Would you still love us if we were worms? Yeah, you know what, maybe. Wait, I am literate? Banned. Banned. Immediate ban. Love your videos. Catching you for the first time now. Entertain us. Well, you know, that's kind of the whole program, right? Is it the tweet story perchance? Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Yeah. So, okay. So, like, around me, there's a couple, like, sometimes, you know, I want to get outside, breathe fresh air, talk with other humans and things like that. And to do that, one of the hobbies that I ended up picking up, thanks to folks over at, when I went over to TennoCon, I picked up playing Magic the Gathering. And I have a couple, like, regular spots that I like to go to, but I was recently invited to a place that I haven't been to before. And I didn't, like, I didn't really want to go there because it's like a super public kind of place. You know what I mean? It's a super public kind of place. And I don't know, like, for some odd, like, it just makes it feel a little bit less personal. It makes it feel like it's not disconnecting in the right kind of way. And I ended up going. I said, screw it. Okay, you know, these guys want me to come play. Too many people. Yeah, it's too many people. And so I wanted to go and check it out anyway, because they said that the people that play there are typically a lot more casual than some of the other places that I go to, because I'm still relatively new. I'm not, like, good at Magic or anything like that. And the folks that I've been playing against more times than not are, like, super competitive. So these guys are like, you know, come to this place, it's a little bit more casual. Like, okay, that's cool. That's, you know, whatever, that's fine. So we go, and I end up going to the place and meeting up with everybody. They already have a game that's going on. I go, you know, pay my little fee and buy a pack of cards to be able to play with everybody. And out of nowhere, this guy and his girlfriend came out, like came into the store, and she's holding a tripod with a phone attached to it, like pointing it at people like this, right? And the dude walks up and he comes and sits at our table where we're all playing, and he's just like, "What up, motherfuckers?" Like yelling, like super loud, like you're in a card shop, you're in a like a little hobby shop. What are you yelling like this for? And the thing is that like I could see it a mile away, right? Because like I'm already tuned into this kind of stuff. You see somebody walking around with a tripod and a phone, and you know the boyfriend's holding his phone like this, like he's sitting there reading chat. You know what I mean? And he sits down at our table, and he's like pointing around at everybody. He's like, man, what you guys got going on? What's that card? What's that? What's this? What's this? And I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, dude, please do not. And he's like, man, I bet you guys all get pussy. Blah, 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 saying all this stuff. And I'm like, homie. And like, he just keeps doing it. And he's just like, what? He looks at me and he's like, what's wrong, man? And I'm like, bro, what are you doing, man? I'm like, you gonna ask people if you can record them? I'm like, did you ask anybody's permission if you could film them? And he flips over his phone that has fucking kick chat on it. Flips over his phone. Bro, chill, dog. Chill. I'm not streaming. What are you talking about? I'm not streaming. And I'm like, dude, I'm just going to be real with you. Like, this isn't even good content, man. I'm like, it's not funny. I'm like, people are trying to relax here. What are you doing? And then immediately, dude just flies off the fucking handle. Flies off the handle. Just like, you know, starts calling me a bitch, saying that he wants to fight me. You know, what's your problem? We're chilling. And the issue is that like he's in a card shop, right? When you're in a card shop, it's all nerds. Like I'm not gonna pretend like it's not, right? And like for the most part, all the people that are there are, you know, they're not the most socially adapted people in a lot of cases. You know what I mean? They're more timid people, and this dude's pushing up on them. And he's like yelling and getting louder, and he's getting mad at me. And then he turns to those other people and he's like, am I bothering y'all? Am I bothering y'all? And then one of the dudes in the corner is like, oh, I'm good. And I'm like, you fucking bro, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And then he starts yelling at me. And like, again, he was like, I was telling him like, dude, it's not even good content, bro. Like, what are you even doing? Like, you're not going to find followers doing that kind of shit. And that struck a nerve. And he's like, you know, saying he's going to kick my ass and all this. And I'm like, I told him, I'm like, I wish you try. I mean, that would make this whole thing much easier to solve, to be honest with you. Just go ahead and take the first swing. Like, let's just take out the trash right now. You know, like you got people that are just chilling, trying to relax. The problem that I have with this kind of shit is that, like, obviously it's obnoxious as hell, but even more so, the thing is that when you're walking into a card shop and then going and sitting down, like, he sees that these are more vulnerable people. He sees that these are people that they're likely not going to give him any pushback. And because they don't give him any pushback, then that's the green light for him to push further. It's not like if you try to ignore people like this, they just go away. They see you're ignoring them as a weakness for them to be able to try to push harder. And, you know, so when I said, I'm like, if you, I'm like, you know, so when I said, if you want to fight, go for it, you know, I wish you try. Then all of a sudden he gets super defensive, even more so. And he starts calling me a racist. And he says, I don't know why you're tripping. Trump won. And I'm like, what does that even have to do with, what the fuck are you even talking about? I'm like, I'm so confused by the situation. Then he starts yelling that I have a gun, saying that I have a gun in my bag, which it was magic cards in my bag. And like, the thing is that like right there, that's like when because like the thing is when you're in an altercation like this, I'm sure other people here have probably been in a similar situation where you got into an argument with somebody and you start to feel the heat rise on the back of your neck. Your blood starts to pump. Your heart starts to pump. And you're like, okay, you know, I'm going to end up having to like solve this physically because that's probably what it's, you know, end up coming to be. And the more logical side of my brain kicked in, especially when he started yelling out that I have a gun, right? And I was like, okay, I need to do something about, I'm just going to walk away and I'm just going to go get security and the store workers and let these motherfuckers handle it because I don't need to be around this kind of shit. You know what I mean? Like I don't need this in my fucking life. And, Yeah, and I went and got them. He made a huge scene about getting kicked out of the store, started screaming and all this stuff. The crazy thing is that because the management didn't actually see the entire thing go down, they were initially asking me to leave too. They're like, we're gonna have to ban you from the store too. And I'm like, for what? I'm like, literally go ask anybody at those tables. They're like, well, you want to know why they said that they wanted to get rid of me? Because when he said that he was gonna fight me, it was because I said I wish you would. They're like, well, you also instigated. And I was like, no, that's me standing up for myself. Standing up for yourself isn't instigating. It's standing your ground. I'm like, I'm not gonna let somebody walk all the fuck over me. I'm like, he was already doing that to the entire fucking room. If I didn't say anything, he would have just sat there doing the same fucking thing and nobody would have done anything about it. Luckily, after hearing my side and talking to a couple of the other people that were playing, they eventually ended up agreeing with me. But still, like, and like, that's the problem with those kind of situations and those kind of people, is that, like, I think that's the part that bothers me the most, is the fact that, like, people like that see weakness and they try to exploit it. And, like, I was the guy in high school that, like, I used to let people walk all over me. Like, turn the other cheek, right? That's how I was taught as a kid. And the funny thing is that that's a stone cold fucking lie, and everybody knows it, and everybody knows it's only going to make it worse. If you don't stand up for yourself, they see that as a moment of weakness and an opportunity for them to push even harder, even further, and do whatever they want. And I'm just not down for that shit. I'm sorry. And the thing is that, like, I recognize that the rest of the people in the room were those kind of people that were just going to, you know, kind of try to ignore it and turn their cheek and not engage or anything like that. But you have to overcome that. You can't let people walk all over you like that, especially people that are trying to profit off of you. That's the even more disgusting part, is, right? Like this is somebody that's trying to profit off of other people's weakness. Like, in a moment of vulnerability too, right? Like, you're not expecting to be thrust into a situation like this when you're sitting at a card shop playing fucking Magic the Gathering. Like, this is the place that they come to, like, make friends. This is the place that they come to be themselves. And then all of a sudden, you know, you're throwing them into this kind of situation that's just, like, it's so unfair. It's so unfair. That's why I said, like, I put out a tweet talking about it. It's not like, I mean, it, like, you know, people saw it and whatnot, but, like, these platforms have to do something to make a stance to tell these folks that this isn't content. It's just pure harassment. That's it. It's attacking people, and it needs to stop. It has to. It's not good. Dude should go to South Korea. Yeah. Yeah, another Johnny, which is crazy to me, because the thing is that, like, you see what, like, that dude is going through, right? Like, you see how he's, like, going to jail. You see how he's, like, you know, like how he's received by the internet. Like, is that really what you want to be? Maybe you need a body cam. You know what the funny thing is? I realized in that moment, I'm not a content creator. I realized in that moment, guys, I'm sorry to say, I'm not a content creator. Because if I was, in hindsight, I would have pulled out my phone. And I would have streamed it. I said, oh, you're making content? I'm going to make content too, bud. What do you got? Oh, you got like 4 viewers on Kick? That's funny. But I'm not, my brain's not wired for that kind of stuff. I don't like putting people in public on, I don't like putting people in public on blast or anything like that. Especially like when you got a bunch of other people in the store and whatnot. I just don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. That'd be a power move. That's not your style, man. Yeah, it's just not my style. It's just not my, I'm just not wired like that.
Social media made your way to comfortable with disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it, Mike Tyson.
Ain't that the fucking truth? Ain't that the truth? Mike Tyson was right saying that. People will say a whole lot of shit. People will do a whole lot of shit. They're okay with disrespecting people until all of a sudden they get knocked out. I think, and like that's the thing, is that like I think that like socially, people have kind of become so they've just tried to do their best to avoid any conflict, and because of that, like that's why these people are getting free reign to just go over and just act however the fuck they want, treat people however they want, go to stores and businesses and try to do whatever they want. Clout is a hell of a drug, but like the thing is, like I guess that's the part that bothers me with it, is like that's not even clout, dude. That's not even clout. And it's also so it's so temporary. It's so unbelievably temporary. Lasame? I don't know how to say that. Thank you for the prime. We watched the Warframe history video about the darkest time in the community. I don't know what that is. The Warframe history video. Is it about like the whole like banning words in the chat and stuff like that? Because if it's that, like I'm not really interested, to be honest. Yeah, the thing that I didn't want to respond to. Yeah, I don't really care about that, dude. I don't really give a shit. That's old drama. Hey, dude, saw your videos on Veilguard. Got to say they were a good watch. Sorry, just got into the stream. It was recommended to me, so update me. We're just chilling. We're just talking right now. Oh, with Neza? Yeah, so like the thing is that like I mean, like, words are words, man. I think people get a little bit too sensitive about words. That's pretty much about as far as I'll take it. But keep in mind at the exact same time, like, these moderators on all platforms all swim in the same pool. Like, I'm talking about like professional moderators. So like professional Discord mods, professional Reddit mods, video game moderators, community managers. Like, they all swim in the same pool. You know what I mean? So like, you're gonna get a lot of crossover, and yeah, that's just kind of how it goes down. I couldn't imagine randomly trying to start shit with people these days, like waving around a powder keg and hoping nothing will pop off. Well, no, like the thing is, that's the reason why they do it. They don't think anything's gonna pop off. They are actually under the assumption that that is the case. And you know what the funny thing is that, like, I mean, like, this is the time of year for it to be that, right? Like, there's so many people in like stores and malls and stuff right now. It's so easy for them to like run around and like try to get people's attention, and people are gonna have their guard down, and they're not really gonna be expecting it. I think that like that's one of the things that ends up happening as well, is that, you know, in a lot of cases, while there are people that likely would stand up for themselves in a situation like that, because their guard is down and they're not expecting it, they get caught on the back foot and they don't really know how to respond, and their brain doesn't really like catch up to them or anything like that. For me, I saw the dude a mile away. I mean, like, the minute that I saw him, the minute that he yelled and like sat down, I was like, for a second, I thought he was like friends with the guys that I was playing with, until his girlfriend popped out with the phone, and none of those guys recognized him, and I was like, oh, so that's what this is. Which also the funny thing is that, like, for somebody like that to be making such a fucking scene when you have, like, honestly, I say like 3 chatters, probably not. It was probably just like one of his friends in chat. Only takes one person on a bad day, though. Yeah, true. If everyone would be nice, and everybody stood together. Oh, it'd be nice for everybody to stood together and told them to piss off. Yeah, that just wasn't the case. That's just not what happened. I mean, like, the thing is that, like, I mean, in that case, he struck gold that he picked like the biggest group of people that are the least likely to be adversarial at all. Like, let's not pretend like, like there aren't stereotypes that are true when it comes to like people that like to play you know, people that play Magic the Gathering or people that play like Dungeons and Dragons and shit like that. Geeks and nerds, man. They're not gonna be the most confrontational kind of people. Be easy, man. I worry you're going to drag yourself in deep despite not wanting to. I'm not doing shit. What are you talking about? Let's see here. Nerd of the nerds. We see it in your eyes. You're gonna start buying Bitcoin. What are you talking about? Why would I buy I had that like momentary lapse in judgment when I was into what was it? It was like back during the vid. You know what I mean? Where like we were getting like Trump money at the time, so it's kind of like, you know, what was I supposed to be doing? I wasn't even doing anything with my life at that point either. Yeah, I put a little bit of money into GME and stuff like that. Everybody was having fun with that kind of stuff. It was more or less just gambling from home, right? You're gonna play anything today? Yeah, later on. Looking forward to Stalker 2. You have no fucking idea. That's what I've been playing. I've been playing Stalker 2 in my free time. Oh, actually, speaking of, I forgot sorry for blasting you guys with the audio. I forgot to save and close the game. I forgot to save and close the game. Sorry about that. Yeah, I've been playing Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl off stream lately. It's like the first time that I've it's the first time that I've ever had anything to do with the franchise ever. Ever.
They should drift assault charges for kick streamers. They are getting way too comfortable messing with people and it's getting out of hand.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that like I think what will end up actually happening is that these platforms will just move to just ban those people entirely. Just ban streaming in public entirely. I don't think you can do that. I don't know how that would actually work, and I personally wouldn't want people to be able to like. I wouldn't want streaming banned in public, right? Like, I think there's plenty of people that make just fine content that isn't, you know, bothering other people or anything like that. Dude, tell us a story. I already did. You missed it. That's what you get for being late. I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. It's illegal to smoke. It can be illegal to stream. It's not illegal to smoke in public. Not in the US, at least. What are your magic colors? Rakdos. And basically any combination with like red, black, and then, you know, after that, I have a Jund deck lately that I've been playing I really like as well. Thoughts on Stalker 1? You're gonna find out about that soon. You're gonna you like Golgari? Yeah, I haven't played it. I don't know. Golgari is red, green, white? I can't remember. Yeah, you guys are gonna find out what my thoughts are on Stalker very soon. Very soon. I just need approval first, and then you guys will find out. That's the spoiler. I guess spoiler, that's the video that's coming out this. There's another video that's going to come out this week. I just have to wait on something first. Oh, black green is Golgari. Oh, okay. Soon as the next 5 minutes, right? Yeah. A sponsor? Yeah, well, I mean, like, yeah, if a video has one, I have to, like, hold it back. Metaphor Refantasio's thoughts? It should be game of the year. Yeah, it's... Like, I really liked Black Myth Wukong a lot. And it's kind of like a hard... It's kind of like a hard choice between the two of them. But it's also been a really long time since I've actually had like an old school kind of JRPG really like sink its teeth into me, and I definitely, hell no, not ever over Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. Like, I really like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I'm not gonna pretend like I didn't. It's fucking awesome. It's very good. It definitely should be one of the front runners in competition to be game of the year. And it makes a lot of improvements over Rebirth or Remake. But over Helldivers? So, I mean, like, the thing is that, like, when we're thinking about a game that's going to be, like, the game of the year, right? Like, if we're thinking about a game that's going to be game of the year, my question is that, like, is it just a game that's good this year and it's just going to be impactful this year? Or is it a game that we think is going to have, like, a lasting, and like, because from my perspective, a game that is like game of the year should be a game that I think is going to have a lasting impact on games for the next, years to come, right? Like Baldur's Gate 3, as an example, is a game that for sure is going to have a lasting impact on how games are made over the next few years. So when I look at a game, like when I look at like this year, I would personally say like Metaphor Refantasio. And the reason why I say that is just because it's how well the narrative and the writing is done. There's so many things that are in Metaphor Refantasio that so many people have tried to do in so many other games that it just turned into forced messaging more than anything else. And they pulled off so well in that game. It's so crazy. It's so good. Balatro should win Indie of the Year for sure. I love that game. Got like 300 or 400 hours in that thing. I don't even know where that time even came from. Dragon Age the Veilguard made an impact in a bad way. Yeah, I mean, like that's the problem is that like if you have bad writing, and when you have bad writing and an important message, well then what ends up happening is you just end up setting back whatever your message is by a next couple of, couple more years probably. What's your favorite Spirit Box song? Circle with me. Now Sun Eater. Yeah. Sun Eater. Metaphor's way of approaching racial bias should be looked at as a way of approaching gender, sex, and racial bias in general. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Yeah, like that's the thing. Is that like they do a really good job of being able to like translate that and make it something that you can empathize with, but not seem like it's something you're supposed to empathize with. And it's just because the characters are so well written and voice acted and portrayed, and yeah, that's it. Favorite food of all time? Japanese barbecue. Circle with me though. Circle with me is really good too. Concord is player's choice game. The funny thing is if they actually put that in the running, people would vote for it just for fun, which would be fucking hilarious, by the way. Sun Killer, sorry. Yeah, Sun Killer. What's your guess for the Silk Song release date? I have no idea. I'm not a leaker, man. I don't know that kind of shit. I'm not that kind of shit. Can't wait for the Concord secret level episode. Why do you think that they're running with the Warhammer like for their like teaser? Actually, we're gonna watch that today. It's in here somewhere in some of the things that I have. I also want to watch the Stalker trailer. I haven't watched that yet either. So I saw this. So this is fucking crazy, dude. So Palworld developer Pocket Pair revealed that the Nintendo Pokemon lawsuit it's $32,000. That's how much they're suing them for. $32,000. Now the thing is that like that's what their damages are, but also they want to put an injunction on the game so it cannot be it can't be sold anymore. Period. So they want to shut it down entirely. I don't know what that means for digital purchases, though. That's my question. Is it like if you put an injunction on something, especially a game that was in early access, I don't know what the... I don't know if that requires them to, like, also have to, like... I don't think they can do that. I don't really know. It's such a scummy move. Yeah, it is. It is. The patents that they did... Pokemon at damn it, man. And you guys wonder why nobody goes to your fucking websites. Jesus. The Pokemon Company cites 3 Japanese patents. 1, 2, 3, and then it says from the translations of the claims, they appear to describe Pokemon style activities with 109 focused on the act of with 191 focusing on the act of throwing a ball at a character in the field. Would that also like throwing a ball at a character in a field? Isn't that technically throwing a grenade? Baseball? Yeah, baseball's another good example. Yeah. Why basketball wouldn't be in a field? Like, it's so crazy. Like, how the fuck can you patent something like that? 117 is tied to aiming, and 390 is on writing characters. So they've also patented mounts. So they also patented mounts. You can't ride on creatures. You can't throw spherical objects at other creatures. With the I think it doesn't explain it entirely, but in another one of these that I read, apparently what it actually is it's like throwing an object to own a creature. But even still then, like, that's subject to, like, it's so vague. Next, they'll patent sandwich making from Scarlet and Violet. I didn't play those ones. Who did they pay off for these patents? This is ridiculous. See, that's the crazy thing is that like this is the biggest threat when it comes to Pokemon and Nintendo is that they are so ingrained into the culture of Japan that, like, the Pokemon Company specifically, Nintendo as well, but the Pokemon Company specifically has so much leverage that they could very easily just leverage the government to be able to get whatever they want. Like, I don't think people really understand, like, how much power this company has. Like, keep in mind, this is the biggest franchise in the world. If I'm not mistaken, if I'm not mistaken, what are the biggest franchises in the world? If I'm not mistaken, it's number 1. Pokemon, this franchise is now considered the highest grossing media franchise. So Pokemon is the highest grossing media franchise. Yeah, Pokemon. Over Mickey Mouse. Over Winnie the Pooh. Over Star Wars. Over Disney princesses. Like Lockheed Martin with Disney in the US, basically, yeah. So I don't know if anybody really remembers this, but so way back when I was making videos on Palworld and all the drama that was going on with it, one of the things that ended up coming up was the fact that people in Japan weren't allowed to talk about Palworld. So different media companies that had like models or journalists or whatever else, and this is what's crazy, they weren't even told directly by Nintendo or Pokemon Company. They just tried to stay away from the whole entire Palworld discussion because they were afraid of how it would affect their relationship with the Pokemon Company, because these companies make so much money off of the Pokemon Company, all these different events and things like that. It goes against it's not even just access journalism we're talking about. We're talking about something on the, you have entire businesses that don't want to do anything to go against them. A chilling effect. Yeah, it's a chilling effect. In Japan, there was an attempt to force young people to smoke for the benefit of the economy. It's full of corporate money right now. No wonder Nintendo. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Some Black Mirror shit. Yeah, everything's being controlled by pocket monsters, man. If I created the Nemesis system, you're damn right. As a company is in business to make business, I'm not letting everyone willy-nilly make money. It's business, not saying it's right. That's not what this is, though. Throwing a ball at a creature is not the same. It's not even in the same realm of discussion as the Nemesis system. That was actually, here's the thing. Is it bullshit? Does it suck? For sure. But the Nemesis system is an actual nuanced system. These motherfuckers patented riding a fucking mount. And it goes even further beyond that. Right? We're talking about... Oh, somebody brought up Nemesis in chat. Oh, okay. Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's just... it's just it's so crazy. And plus, on top of that, the thing is that, I think in a lot of cases, you will have some people that will try to stand up and defend it and say, well, companies are in business to make money, right? So, you got to do what you got to do. But the problem is that, we're talking about things that quite literally serve to destroy the very medium itself. It's barring access to new developers being able to create anything. When you're making things as vague as this, it makes it way too, it's going to make it way too difficult. As some of these companies continue to grow and make money, it's going to make it more and more difficult. Here's the thing. If Nintendo wins this lawsuit and Palworld gets shut down, that sets a precedent. And you're going to see a shitload of these companies go to try to patent a bunch of dumbass shit and try to knock out their competition that way. As an example, what if the folks over at Tarkov, went out and started patenting, the extraction shooter genre? All of a sudden, Activision actually would be the ones that actually have the money to do it in the first place. They could probably patent it before anybody else. So we'll use them as the better example. What if they went out and they made patents for the extraction shooter genre because they put it into Warzone at one point, and then they go out and they put injunctions against Tarkov, against Arc Raiders, against Spec Ops, all these other games. And then all of a sudden entire genres can't exist anymore, and only one company can make that genre of game. Like that's how nuanced this could become. It could get to the point where, you know, if they win this lawsuit and this all goes through, and then Palworld and Pocket Pair get shut down as a result of it, it's going to then teach the competition that this is the way to compete now. No longer is it about the quality of your games. No longer is it about the industry trying to innovate and make new things and adapt and pull things and inspiration from other games. Instead, what it turns into is it's a legal battle, and it no longer is about what they can serve to the consumers. It's what they can keep away from the consumers. That's what it turns into. Imagine if they had patented multiplayer FPS games with exactly. Like, and here's the thing, like, that's how fucked up and how vague some of these things can get. Is that, like, technically you could make a patent where your patent was fighting against another player in an online arena, or like something stupid like that. I'll be right back. Like, oddly got hit with like a headache. This is just classic problem of law lagging massively behind technology. Same shit. Yeah, no, I fully agree with that. I fully agree with that. Yeah. It's just chat damaging your brain. No, like I started to feel a little bit of a headache just before I got on. I just kind of ignored it because I was like, oh, it's probably nothing. I haven't even looked into this at all. I don't know anything about this other than the fact that, like, apparently they laundered $139 million. I've heard that it's not going to have any impact on the actual game or on, like, the game's release or anything like that. But does anybody have any information on this? Does anybody know, like, what's actually going on? All right, sorry about that. Sony laundering money with Concord? Yeah, that kind of actually feels about right. Giving feet for free? That's right, man. Is there an outlet for this? Let me shrink myself. That's fine. Marvel Rivals employees arrested for allegedly laundering over $130 million. Executives and other employees at Marvel Rivals developer and publisher NetEase. I mean, you saw that coming. Have been arrested in connection with with an alleged money laundering scheme. The amount laundered could be up to $139 million. With Marvel Rivals on the horizon, it's an exciting time for NetEase. The beta was exceptional, and it's got the potential to swing out as a rival to Overwatch as the other hero shooter. What does it say? The beta was exceptional, and it's got potential to come out swinging as a rival to Overwatch, just as the other hero shooter genre saw the biggest failures in Concord. Yeah. Or they got the wrong kind of excitement in the office when 9 employees were arrested in connection with possible money laundering scheme, according to Chinese news outlet Lei Feng. Executive Zhonlang, I think is what that is. And several other employees are now allegedly charged with money laundering up to 28 different business partners. So they were actually using the company to do this. Ooh. All of the details are still sparse. It's an ongoing investigation. The amount allegedly laundered could be up to 1 billion Chinese yuan. So you know what the funny thing is that I could almost guarantee I know what's going on here or what had happened. So I worked I used to work at truck stops like back in the day, right? And there was this guy and his wife that got arrested for money laundering. And what it is it's you get people that work for these companies and they kind of end up having like a bit of an agreement with some other people, and they start charging like stuff to like company credit cards as well as like, you know, other projects, and say that like it's for equipment or whatever like that. They'll spend they'll spend like $20,000 here, $30,000 here. But how would you not notice the money? Because it was probably multiple people that were doing it rather than all of it just being on. It's really easy to see $130 million disappear when it's one person over the course of like a short period of time. It's very difficult to see that happen when it's, you know, 30 people over the course of like 10 years. And then it adds up. It's not like likely what happened is it probably wasn't all 139 million all at once. It was probably like over the course of a game's development or a couple video games being developed. So the reason why I say this is because like there was a guy that I worked with, and him and his wife got arrested because she was a dispatcher for a trucking company. And with trucking companies, one of the things that they have is they can basically pay you early, right? Like you can get paid early. And then you also get money for fuel. You also get money for food. Like a lot of these companies have a lot of different stuff like that. And what this chick was doing is she had a handful of truck drivers that she was giving what's the word for it? What's the word for getting paid early? I can't think of it. My brain's not fully turned on. Yeah, paid advance. Thank you. No, paid advance. Yeah. So, she was giving these people paid advances, and then they were also getting their check. And it was also some like weird thing that was working out because of the fact that like the paid advance actually goes to the fuel card. So she was actually charging the paid advance as the fuel, even though it wasn't the fuel. And that's how they were covering it up. And she had done this with like 5 truck drivers. And the agreement between her and these drivers was, you know, you give me some of the money. Like I get half. Because it was straight up just like, you know, like your paycheck's going to be 10 grand. you're still going to get paid, but I'm going to give you this cash advance that's going to go under the rug because we're going to say that it's fuel and it's just going to get written off. So I want you to give me the $5,000 out of that 10. And these guys were like, yeah, sure. Why not? I'm getting $5,000 out of it. Why? Yeah. You know, they didn't like, you know, like not the smartest people in the world, but yeah, they're like, yeah, sure. I'll take the money. So yeah. And they were using it for per diem as well. And the thing is that like, because it was, you know, over the course, like, and this happened, by the way, like over the course of 5 years while this chick worked at the company, and it was happening in 5 different accounts. So it was a little bit more difficult to see or track. And they only ever noticed when they got audited. They actually got audited by the IRS. And then that's when they ended up finding out where like there was money that was missing from the company. Over the course of 5 years, she stole $5 million. Now, if $5 million goes missing immediately, it's easy to see. But if it's over the course of 5 years with 5 different accounts, and it's like, you know, a couple $1,000s this month, a couple $1,000s that month, and it's a company that's making millions of dollars a month, well, yeah, you're not really going to notice it. Yeah, you're not going to notice it at all. And I guarantee that's exactly what happened here. I could very easily see like some people at the office making an agreement like, oh, hey, you know, let's say that we're going to buy PCs for the office. We're going to buy computers. We need to buy equipment for the office. We're going to say that we're going to buy these like $7,000, you know, top of the line gaming PCs to be able to, you know, develop our games and whatnot. But in all reality, we're actually going to spend half that because we have a corporate deal. But we're going to just cash that money out ourselves. I would almost guarantee that's what happened. Yeah, I would almost guarantee. Almost guarantee. So like this is like one of those things where it ends up being this like the intellectual dishonesty around some of these conversations. And it's like, you know, so Geo Media makes cuts at Kotaku. More people were laid off from Kotaku, right? What's her face was among them. Alyssa Mercanti, I think is what her name is, right? And so like people are like, you know, they're happy for the downfall. And he's just the idea of Kotaku being some big game journalism boogeyman at this point is weird. The site has been cut to what, full 4 times. Nobody's ever thought that they're a fucking boogeyman. Nobody thinks that there's some like mass conspiracy or anything like that. People just think that you guys are biased. And people don't like Kotaku very specifically just because of the fact of like how they've treated and how they've acted towards their audience. It's no wonder why Kotaku's going out of business. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, let's be real. It's just so odd to like frame it like this. Like, who actually thinks that like Kotaku is like a video game industry boogeyman? Nobody does. So goofy. He's the epitome of doofus. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, in a lot of cases I feel with Paul, like I feel like he means well in like with some of his articles, and then like some of his articles are like he's like adversarial for the sake of being adversarial. As a gaming boomer, what's Kotaku? How do you talk? What do you mean? How would you not? Even if you're a boomer, like everybody, like they used to be a huge outlet. They used to be massive. They used to be just as big as IGN. They were kind of like more. I think like when Kotaku first started like rolling out, they were more like alternative media. Yeah, it's a boomer outlet. I was about to say, like, what are you talking about? But they like when they first came out, they were kind of like an alternative gaming outlet in some ways. And like some of their articles and stuff were like a little bit like racier, and they were kind of like touching into topics that, you know, some people didn't really want to get into that much. And a lot of people actually really appreciated them at the very beginning, but then they just kind of turned the page, and then they started walking away. Now I've never heard of IGN. Get the fuck out of here. It was worthwhile for like a year or two, yeah. Yeah, people with no love for games. Yeah, and like that's the thing. That's the reason why people never like those outlets. That's one of the reasons why. Like, here's the thing. You know, if you want to know why people have stopped trusting writers and like video game journalists, it's for shit like this. It's for shit like this. Like when you see somebody say something like this, like you immediately like it questions the intelligence of the reader and the audience. Give me one more second. Sorry about that. I had to open a couple windows. Nice house. Can I have it? Sure. Poor fools, man. These guys cannot stop taking L's. I've never seen a company like so quickly turn into an L magnet. You okay? Are you feeling okay? Yeah, yeah. I mean, like I got like a minor headache. Apartment's a little warm, but I'm fine. Like I've honestly never seen a company so very quickly turn into just a magnet for L after L after L. Like you have everything that goes down with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Then you guys release well, I guess before that you could look at Prince of Persia. You put it out only on your platform, which then led to that game not making a profit. Then you have the stuff that was going on with Shadows. Then you put out Star Wars Outlaws and it flops. Then you were already tied up in controversy because of Stop Killing Games because of the fact that they shut down the crew. Then you guys release an NFT game. Tried to release an NFT game under the radar. That immediately gets like swarmed by hackers, completely negates the purchases that the people made to buy the NFTs in this game because cheaters came in with stronger characters just to kill them. They pulled out of the Tokyo Game Show, right? That was also embarrassing. They're being sued for the crew now. A lawsuit out of the state of California. So they're going through a lawsuit for the crew now. And then now another one of their projects has been shut down. Like, what's next? They have to get purchased soon. I'm just gonna say it. They're gonna have to sell out. They're gonna have to. There's just no way that they don't. They've lost so much. What's their stock doing now? It's not good. Yes. This is when I put up my video. Curly Fro, thank you for the tier 1. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Look at the complete stock. What do you mean the complete stock? Oh, this is ADR. God, why is everything so bright in this world? I don't know. I've already lost interest. It's going to mirror the same path regardless. Take a look at Wayfinder. I've already played Wayfinder. I played it just before they put it to 1.0. I streamed it, actually. Gave the developers a little bit of feedback. It was a while back, though. Honestly, this is the third time I've heard about the Prince of Persia game. The first time was on the initiative stream. 2 times, really recent, like a week or 2 ago. The Prince of Persia game, like, dude, the funny thing is, like, the Prince of Persia game, for all intents and purposes, is actually really fucking good. The only problem, like, they just screwed themselves because they didn't put it out on all platforms immediately. And I'm sorry, but this, like, delayed release to PC is just like, it's shooting yourself in the foot for no reason. I just don't understand what do you think is the outcome? What do you think the outcome is going to be? Because from my perspective, the only thing that's actually going to end up happening is that all of the initial hype and buildup that you would normally have for a game and its release is immediately lost once that game is released, and then people are going to forget about it within a year, because chances are there's going to be other things to watch. Will it be on Steam? Yeah, I think they're going to end up releasing it on Steam. They're going to do the same thing. They're going to do they're going to release Star Wars Outlaws is going to go to Steam as well. Bloodborne to PC when there's already a mod you can play. Or already a like a cracked version that they made for PC. Rebirth is doing that. Yeah, it will, but like, here's the thing. Like, at its maximum, Remake got 13,000 concurrent players. So on the day of its launch, it hit 13,000 players. And then it just went down from there. Because the vast majority of people either lost interest, waited for the game to be on sale, or had already played it on PlayStation. Do we know PlayStation? Oh, the game did great on PlayStation. It did great on PlayStation. Yeah, look, like Norsky says, I'm waiting for all 3 games to be on PC first. Yeah, and you're going to have a lot of people that are like that too. I wanted to check this out. People said that this is really good. I need to put this on my wish list, actually. Let me take a look. It's a roguelike. So is it like Remnant? Because it looks like it's kind of like Remnant in some ways. Roguelike FPS with RPG elements. Interesting. Huh, okay. Yeah, I saw somebody just mention this in chat. Yeah, EA CEO reportedly is next in the mix to be the next Disney boss. I mean, like, here's the funny thing is that, like, I mean, God help us all. I mean, like, do you guys really give that much of a shit about Disney products? I personally don't anymore. I've been tired out by most of their stuff. Let him go. That's my idea. Let him go. Let him have him. You can't make it any worse than what it is already, right? You can't make it worse than what it is already. And I mean, hey, maybe we get lucky and EA gets a better CEO, right? That's my view. Watch Kathleen Kennedy get the role. Well, I mean, but she's not really like a CEO type, is she? Maybe the devil will learn a lesson. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm tired of Disney garbage. I'm the same way. Like I like the thing is that like outside of like a few things that they still let people have like full creative control of, like that's a different story. But there's just not a lot of that anymore. Why is it always EA? Because it's in the game. Sorry. I got distracted. I was like reading some like dumbass conversation in chat. I was like, my fucking ADD's on full rip today. I don't even know what to say. When I first saw this, I just exhaled. I just exhaled very loudly. Very, very loudly. Dragon Age the Veilguard is awkwardly in conflict with itself, torn into pieces that reflect a sequel to a decade-old RPG and a fresh beginning with no ties to what came before. Exhausted at what? IGN gave this game a fucking 9. They gave this game a fucking 9. They treated it like it was the second coming. And now all of a sudden they want to put out articles about how, yeah, well, maybe it's not that good. Maybe it's not that good. I cannot fucking wait to see the mental gymnastics I cannot wait to see the mental gymnastics when they want to try to explain this. Gamealytics is now estimating $32.4 million. $32.4 million. So keep in mind, I brought this up in the video that I was talking about. Immortals of Avium was about $125 million. How much do you guys think they spent on, oh, I don't know, one of the biggest franchises that EA owns that's been in development for almost 10 years? $300 to 600 million? I wouldn't say 600. 600 is too high. I'd probably say anywhere between 200 to 300 million. Yeah, I'd say about 200 to 300 million. Specifically because of the fact that they spent 20 million. Trooper. I was like, the typo? I was about to say, I was like, who the fuck? I'm like, that better not be one of my chatters. That better not be one of my chatters. $20 million? They spent 20 bucks. Yeah, 10 years. Yeah. 10 years for 20 million when you're working with ants. I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Veilguard probably costs at least $200 million. Yeah. How accurate is this? I don't know. Let's see. Pretty fucking accurate. Estimations on Black Myth Wukong, 19.4 million. So they're at least in the ballpark. They might not be completely accurate, but they're in the ballpark. Yeah, Black Myth Wukong made $1 billion. Dude, you got a radio voice? Really? Do you think I do? You can't compare it to Wukong, Chinese market. Oh, fuck, you're right. They're not real. Chinese aren't real. I forgot about that. 2.4. What was Black Myth's budget? I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, Black Myth Wukong cost them under $100 million to make. But keep in mind, the reason why is because of the fact that that game was made in China, so you have lower wages over there. You should do ASMR. ASMR of what? You want me to lick the microphone? Do it. No, stop. Stop. Shut up. What the fuck's wrong with you guys? Fucking goons. Chill. Forget I said anything. Clean the cat hair off the mic first? Yeah, I know. Read a book? Oh. I've been feeling so adversarial lately that sometimes I read like offhanded comments and I'm like, you want to fight? You want to fight? Somebody said read a book and I'm like, are you telling me to read a book, motherfucker? And I'm like, oh no, like into the microphone, and I'm like, I need to chill. I need to chill. Read a book as the new touch grass. Read a book has been touch grass for a long time. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I saw that they Warcraft 2 remastered. It looks really good. I think they did a really good job. I really like the thing that they're doing with some of the older Blizzard games where they give you the ability to like tap one button and go back to the old school graphics and then tap it again and then like show like their like high res version that they made of it. I think it's really cool. I really enjoyed playing Diablo 2 Resurrected. I enjoyed it a lot. And you know what the funny thing is, I used to do that. Oh yeah, Halo Anniversary did the same thing too, didn't they? I forgot about that. Baldur's Gate Baldur's Gate 3 sold 3 times the copies in the past week than what Divinity Original Sin did. Yeah, because it just keeps rolling, baby. It's still in the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So it's in the top 15 still. I know Factorio just got a big update. Like, I would play a game like that, but I feel like it would be like the least constructive thing that I could do. Banana? Do you really count banana? No, not really. I don't understand how banana is still there. It has to be because, like, I don't know. People are fucking stupid. We at the very least know that there are 340,000 morons on Steam. We have an exact count. This dude. I had no idea that the Game Boy Color was more popular than the Game Boy Advanced. Because, like, Game Boy Advance was the shit, dude. But then I think about it, and, like, I feel like the Game Boy Advance didn't really stick around all that long. I feel like the DS came out, like, relatively soon after, right? And, like, I mean, like, let's be fucking real. The Nintendo DS is the best handheld ever made. It's good. Like, don't get me wrong. I loved my Game Boy as a kid, but the Nintendo DS is just, it was next level shit. I didn't really like a lot of the, like, I didn't like that the games always had, like, some of the stuff that had to do with the pen, but, like, for the most part, like, the thing was just so fucking good, man. And then the 3DS comes out. Did you guys play Ocarina of Time on the 3DS? It was so good. PSP Vita is right there, LD. Yeah, you just can't see it. It's off screen. PSP was good. I liked it. The reason, like, the only reason people like the PSP specifically because of the fact that you could put homebrew on there, and then you'd play Nintendo games on it. Like, let's be real. The only reason why people liked the PSP was because you could play Nintendo games. It always comes back to Nintendo. PSP was single-handedly responsible for my perfection of the claw technique to play Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter was good on there too. Watch movies on yours? Oh, I forgot about that. They did have... Oh, my God. I remember the PSP, like, DVD discs. You guys remember those? Those are so overpriced. They were so overpriced. Holy shit, Getty. With 100. My lord. When are we getting Stalker 2 the minute it fucking launches? I'm playing it the minute it comes out. Thanks for paying for it. Thanks for paying for it. So, shit. Holy shit, man. Thank you, big dog. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, I don't think people really, I don't think people realize, like, I'm going fucking hard into Stalker 2. We haven't even talked about Stalker yet. We haven't even talked about it. I talked about this earlier. I talked about so I have a video on Stalker that's coming out like this week. I just have to wait for approval, and once it's approved, then it goes up. Is this about the previous games? Yeah, I went back and I've been playing Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl. I fucking love it. I'm not gonna do any justice to it really, like talking about it right now. But yeah, I love it. Like today I love it. And it's the first time me ever even touching the franchise. It's so good. And by the way, I'm playing it completely unmodded, untouched. It is naked. It is just it's the pure unadulterated Euro jank beauty that it is. And it's so good. It's so good. It's like if Fallout had balls. It's like if Fallout was Tarkov. It's so weird. It's just not, the game's just not what I expected it to be. I'll be honest. You got a code for SF yet? What is SF? Soulframe. Yes, I do have a code. I just haven't got around to it yet. I just haven't got, it's on the books. It's on the books. We'll get there. We'll get there. Believe me. I want to make a video and talk about it. What version are you playing? The original, the remastered? I think it's just the original. Yeah, it just says Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. I don't need no remaster. Cool. RJ with the $2. I think Nintendo will get boycotted. They should be. Nobody boycotts never work in video games. Every video game boycott is one trailer away from fucking disappearing. One like 30-second trailer with no gameplay. Fuck off, Tickle. Let me in, LD yesterday. I'll play later, LD today. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yeah. Now I'm not playing it out of spite. They made me wait too long. I come to find out what it was is that like my email was like caught up, or like they tried to send me a code, but it got caught up in their system somehow, so they ended up having to have somebody go like into the back end and actually like push it through. Something Elder Scrolls. So-called journalists try to boycott Wukong. No, they never really tried to boycott Wukong. The game that they did actually, the game that they did, you actually, you know what? Let me show you guys something. I'll show you this. This is the game. This is the game that the journalists boycotted. Yeah, they slandered that one. This is the one they boycotted. Hogwarts Legacy hits 30 million in sales. Warner Brothers confirms sequel and development is high priority. Oh shit. Oh shit. The game was genuinely fun. It was really good. I really liked it. I wish there were like in some ways I wish they went like a little bit further into some stuff, but it was so it was more than I thought it would be. I'll tell you that right now. It was more than I thought it would be. There's also well, actually, you know, speaking of these motherfuckers post every 5 seconds. They also repost the same shit so many damn times too. Maybe they, oh no, they didn't. Yeah. And by the way, In case you thought that they would learn their lesson from taking the L the first time and trying to send like boycotts and shit like that over the Hogwarts Legacy game. A handful of reviewers completely stopping, right? They didn't even review the game. They said that they wouldn't out of solidarity. They would not review the game. Like, you know what the crazy thing is? Is that if I owned a gaming outlet like IGN, how the fuck do you let people post shit like this? Are you guys literally trying to just like fill your entire front yard with shit and then set it on fire so that nobody walks up to your house? Because like people are gonna see this shit and go, this is the kind of stuff that you see that just completely turns you off from ever wanting to hear somebody's opinion. Because when you see this is like their public facing opinion on something, like you're gonna think that this is going to be this is what you're going to be getting in everything that you would ever read from them. Crazy how they went against the game because of its involvement with the turf, and then they went to support a turf. Yeah. Bridge too far with that shit? Yeah. It's just like... So, like, my question is that, like... what's the news here? The news is that J.K. Rowling will be will be involved with the Harry Potter TV show. What does this have to do with anything? It has nothing to do with this. Unless they're trying to say this has to do with her having opinions on casting. It's just so fucking stupid. Y'all are a fucking joke, man. Absolute joke. So gross. Just from like a PR perspective, it doesn't make any sense at all to put an opinion like that out there because of like how much like you're a company, you're a business. If you are divisive, you divide your audience. It's okay for you to have your own thoughts and personal opinions. Keep them in the fucking drawer. These companies are like speed running bankruptcy right now. This like the entire like video game journalism industry is like speed running like fucking failure. It's crazy. Bro, okay, I'm gonna be petty as fuck right now. I'm gonna do something super petty. This is gonna be super petty. So this dude commented on my post because I'm like, I don't know why people are tripping over this. They're future-proofing their business for consoles when consoles are rendered obsolete, and you simply stream games straight to your TV or mobile. It's pretty obvious. But Xbox is gonna put their games anywhere. Right? Xbox is going to put their games anywhere. Like, these platforms are going to just become streaming services. This whole industry is going to go the exact same route that Hulu and Netflix went. Like, am I the fucking crazy one? It's going to go the same as the DVD and the VHS player. This motherfucker right here says, a question for you, sir. How is it crazy though? Eventually, once consoles die, PCs next? No, because you need the PCs to make the fucking games. And eventually, mobile gaming and streaming not happening for another 30 to 50 years. To which I replied, xCloud and Game Pass are already available on select TVs. How long did it take for Blu-ray and DVD to become obsolete after Netflix was on every platform? 30 to 50 years, don't gaslight yourself. Only for the next fucking day, Xbox to post this. Twitter argument 1. Thank you, Xbox, for working on my side. Thank you for what? But I like the thing is like the idea that people are like fighting over these fucking consoles and shit like that. Like that's it. How do you not see it? How don't you see it? How do people not understand? How do people not understand where shit's going? This is an Xbox. This is an Xbox for your laptop. This is an Xbox that tags along. This is a cat box. This is an Xbox that goes on the wall. It's a TV. This is an Xbox that makes calls. It's a cell phone. This is a Amazon Fire Stick because you can get Game Pass on Fire Stick now. This is like a Meta thing. You can get Xbox Game Pass on Meta. And then you have a Switch. Series S. Yeah, 30 to 50 years. How about tomorrow? Exactly. Yeah. It'll be mobile for most players, for hobby gamers, and PC for premium players. No, I think that like you're still gonna like. I think hobby players are still gonna end up using. I get where people are coming from. Like, am I saying that like consoles are gonna be dead tomorrow? No, consoles are gonna be dead tomorrow. But I'd say within the next like 10 years, yeah, you're gonna see a lot of people that are gonna start to move away from it because like let's be fucking real, dude. It's all digital purchases. You don't own any of these fucking games anymore anyway. Xbox is just going to turn into a fucking rental service basically emulating Netflix. And then what they're going to go ahead and do is they're just going to stream the shit straight to your TV and you're not going to have anything else to worry about. That's just what's going to end up happening. That's what they're going to end up doing. Like, you're just going to follow the exact same path as Netflix and Hulu. It's not rocket science. Like, it's not like, does this look like rocket science to you? Because this looks like nothing but fucking profit. What? I'm sure it's not Rocket Appliances. No, it's definitely not Rocket Appliances. He's making sounds in the other room, so I have to go check on him. He's like, so like last weekend, or not, I think it was like last weekend. I heard a noise, but I kind of ignored it because I didn't know exactly what was, I didn't know where it came from. And then I had fallen asleep, and when I woke up in the morning, I came out into the living room after taking a shower, and I noticed that the screen on the window was like knocked out. I was like, oh fuck, little bastard knocked the window screen out and tried running away. He tried running away. So you know what? You want to know where he ran away to? Underneath the porch. So I walk outside and I'm like, where is this homie at? Like I start calling for him, and I hear the little jingle on his collar, and then all of a sudden I hear like fucking like fucking when cats are like all freaked out, and then he comes crawling out from underneath the porch. So he must have like got out during the night and then immediately got scared and then ran off, and then, or not like ran off, but like ran under the porch to hide, and then just hid there for the night. What a little prick. Yeah, he's an asshole. Dogs are better, but I'm biased. I like animals in general. I rescued this little homie from a job site. I would have had a dog, but like the problem is that like I don't really have the space for it, and I've always had to travel a whole lot. So the cat's just more convenient. Anything here I wanted to see? I don't want to watch some stuff. I want to see this. I want to see the Stalker trailer. I haven't seen this yet. Okay. Check it out. So the one thing that I don't understand is that like to my understanding, so when like the Stalker series that they put out, came out, didn't they go out of business, and then they just basically gave the community like their like all of their shit, right? Like they gave the community like all the tools to be able to do whatever the fuck they wanted with the game. And effectively, like, they let people pirate the game because they just said, screw it, whatever. Something like that. Yeah, because, like, I know, like, so I've been told by many people, like, play Gamma. You need to play Gamma or Anomaly or, like, whatever they are. And those things only exist because of the fact that they gave out everything. But then they came back to business. Studio ended, but the founder kept the IP. I got you. And the founder now restarted the company himself. Oh, they went to the Metro games. That makes a lot of sense why people were telling me to play Metro.
The zone was never a friendly place. Scenic and breathtaking, yes. But don't be fooled. Gunfire in the zone hasn't subsided for many years, which is why you won't find them.
I don't know what it is, because it has like the same kind of like perspective and like look of like the gun and the like, I don't know, like it must be like the camera's perspective or something like that. I'm not really too sure if it's like FOV or what, but it reminds me of Tarkov a lot. And I really like the feel of playing Tarkov and like being in the world of Escape from Tarkov.
Person here without a weapon, and if you need one, you might come across stashes left by stalkers who decided to hide their guns and best gear for the future. Before heading out on your next adventure, check your gear. Repair it if needed. Otherwise, you may face, well, consequences.
Oh yeah.
And don't forget, without ammo,
I'm just so like, you know, so one of the things like, so I've been playing Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, and like loot is definitely not plentiful. Like not even a little bit. Like what ends up happening is like you'll find like a lockbox or something like that, open it up, there's nothing in it. Like I find 90% of the things that I need from enemies. Like I'll kill an enemy and then I'll find it there. Every once in a while I'll find something that's probably like staged loot, like it's supposed to be found there. But for the most part, like things are pretty scarce. I'm hoping that they still keep that with this because I really like the survival element of the game. Like the funny thing is that when I played Stalker, or when I started playing Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, I didn't realize that it was a survival horror game. I mean, it's kind of is, but it also kind of isn't at the same time. But like, yeah, the no HUD, yeah, I know, and I really appreciate that kind of thing too. Stalker is Metro on hard mode, yeah. Considering how good the Metro games are, losing that kind of talent hurts, yeah.
your piece is useless. Be sure to know where you're heading so you can grab the ammo type you want, especially if you need something unique. There's a tool for every scenario.
The only thing that I'm gonna say is like one of the things that's like standing out to me that I don't really how do I like it so far? I fucking love Stalker. Like I fucking love it. It's so good. But the only thing that I'm saying the only thing I'm seeing right now that I'm not like a huge fan of for Stalker 2 is honestly it's just the UI. I think the UI looks kind of chintzy.
Depending on what kind of stalker you are and how you prefer to navigate the zone,
this look for me for some odd reason doesn't feel like it fits the game. It looks very like I don't want to say like I don't really know how to yeah, it's generic. Yeah, I think the UI looks really generic. It doesn't look like it like fits the world. I don't know if that makes any sense. Too sanitized, yeah.
Upgrade your
modern, yeah, I think too modern.
Attachments found along the way, installing them on the go to adapt to the exact.
But like, I mean, it's all about the gameplay at the end of the day. I give a fuck less if the UI looks one way or not.
And
oh yeah. I just hope it's hard. That's all I hope. I just hope that it's hard. Because the thing is that like that's one of the things that makes Stalker like the original game like really good is the fact that like things can really turn on you very quickly, and if you're not doing your best to be able to like balance your resources, like for the first time in a long time, playing Stalker has made me like question whether or not I actually wanted to fight a group of enemies, specifically because I didn't know if it was going to be worth me wasting, like ultimately wasting the material, the like supplies to be able to fight them in the first place. Because like I am going to get shot, I am going to shoot. Do I have enough rounds? Is it more important for me to hold on to those rounds for later? Is it more important for me to, you know, use hold on to like medical supplies and stuff like that? You know, what if I need a healing kit because I got to go into like some radiation or something like that? What if I get attacked by like a monster or something? Like I want to try to make sure that I actually have enough stuff to be able to deal with some of these problems in the first place. And my only thing, like I just hope that it's hard because it needs to be.
And hey, if you want to stick with your firearm for a bit longer and customize
They moved to
it,
Poland. I don't think they moved to Poland. I think they're still in Ukraine, but they're just on the eastern border. They're on the eastern border because they feel like that's probably going to be the safest place to be because Russia wouldn't want to cross the NATO boundaries. I like this. I like all the like the upgrade styling and stuff like that.
Further, technicians will be happy to assist, but not for free. These guys can repair and upgrade your gear to suit your gunfight style, making it more specialized for specific circumstances, or vice versa, turning it into a versatile tool for any situation.
That's cool. I like that you can change things on the fly. That's like one of the things that I really appreciate when games have that ability to, because like sometimes I want to use the same rifle for different type of, or like for different types of engagements, whether that's like something from like far off in the distance or something a little bit closer up. No. I like somebody said half of them moved to the Czech Republic, but I know that they moved to the eastern side of Ukraine, close to the border, at least initially. I was watching their documentary they just put out recently. Or western border, thank you. Western, sorry.
Remember, the zone is a unique place, but the laws of physics and ballistics still apply. Each gun feels and fires differently, and its effectiveness depends on the distance and the type of armor you're up against.
So there's one thing that I'm seeing, and they're not showing it in the game, and I hope it still makes it into this. So there's something that like I didn't bring up, and I should have talked about in the video that I put out, or it's going to be coming out soon. But basically, like you can wound people, and like wounded people, like if they're allied forces, you can hand them a med kit and they'll like be revived, or if they're an enemy, you just like kill them and take their stuff. But it adds a level of atmosphere to the game when you hear somebody like you shot, like basically cursing your name and screaming. But I haven't seen any of that stuff here where like you can have like somebody wounded on the ground.
That's why, my friend, preparation is key to survival. But don't forget, this place is full of surprises.
Fuck those things. I just want to say that right now.
The more you know the zone and expect the unexpected, the better your chances of living another day, exploring her mysteries and secrets, and reaching the goal you've set for yourself.
It looks really good. The other thing is I really wish these studios would stop using like AI voiceovers for their commercials. Like it sucks. It just doesn't sound good, and it also just comes off like it comes off inauthentic. I'm afraid of bad frame rate. I don't know. We'll find out with that one. I'm really happy that they kept the look and the feel of the older games. All of this is immediately familiar, but modern and polished. That's what most of us wanted. The devs really took that to heart. I really love this franchise. A lot of people really like the franchise. I'm looking forward to this, man. Like the universe of the game, it is more than enough to be able to motivate me to play it. Just like the overarching story and narrative of it, the world. I like the only thing is it's just like my main hope is now that I've actually played the game. See, the problem is that I didn't have any expectations going into this game, right? But now that I've played the first game, there are things that I want from the first game to be here. Specifically the atmosphere. It's a very atmospheric game, which is crazy for it to be able to pull off something like that for how old it is. It needs better physics, buddy. I don't know. I can't wait for this though. It's gonna be so good. What is this? Monster Hunter Outlanders. Oh, okay. This is a mobile game, isn't it? Oh God. Environments and stuff look good. That's funny. How did they miss that? How do they miss that? Where's that at? It's right here. Do you guys see it? The pop in their own fucking trailer right here on the road. Like, how the fuck do you miss that in your own fucking trailers? I hate that so much. Like, you're making promotional material for your fucking games, guys. Like, take a minute to like look at what you're doing. It's like the same thing for like the Assassin's Creed Shadows trailers where like the horse is floating and stuff. It's just like, guys, what are you doing? Oh God, you literally saw the frame rate drop. Environments look cool though. I will say it is getting like really impressive, like how far gaming is gone, like where it's headed so far, like what we've already been able to accomplish, even with like mobile games. Because like the thing is that like if you go like 10 years back, I mean, people would never think that fucking mobile games would look like this. Frame rate looks low, yeah, because it's a fucking mobile game. Yeah, it could be cool. I'm gonna put money on this being I'm gonna put money on it being a gacha game. Anytime I see like an established franchise like this make a mobile game, like I know that it's not going to be a genuine adaptation of the normal franchise. They're gonna have to mobile game it somehow, and I'll take a wild guess and say it's probably gonna be a gacha game. I could very easily see them being like, oh, like you want to play as like Switch Axe? Well, you gotta do some polls to get a Switch Axe. You gotta do some polls to get a Switch Axe. It is? Oh, okay, there you go then. Drop vid and React content. Hope you have the time to check it out. Maybe I will. Worst case scenario, Pokemon Pokemon Go clone, yeah. Dude, I've been playing the shit out of that fucking Pokemon TCG Pocket. It's actually really well made. It's pretty good just like as a casual, like, chill game. Tencent helped make it, so yeah, it's got to be a gacha. Yeah, chances are. That's what I kind of figured. All right, let's watch the solo leveling. You guys ready for this? This is the solo leveling official trailer. Secret level, sorry, solo leveling. I wish it was solo leveling. Secret level official trailer, Prime Video. Let's go.
Every day.
Who is that? Hold on. I want to see these. What is this? Unreal Tournament. That one's going to be really cool. Warhammer is going to be really cool. Man, Amazon. How much you guys want to bet that like Amazon originally probably wanted to make this specifically to be able to market New World Eternum? I mean, that's kind of cool. It's kind of a smart thing to do to be able to like try to make like metaverse, multiverse of content. Like, just try to like get the idea out there. Hey, you know what? People want to talk shit. Hey. Oh, I'm watching. I was like, where's my browser at? I'm like, I can't see it. God damn. They've come back. I mean, they're not. It's not doing that great. It's not doing like. I mean, it's doing okay. I mean, from what it was, from where it was at like 4,000 players, 5,000 players. Yeah, it's doing a lot better. I would guarantee it's probably a lot better for console players. I bet there's probably a lot of people playing it on console now. God, they're gonna do Armored Core. I forgot they were gonna do Armored Core. What it So the funniest thing could happen. What if the most popular episode of Secret Level ends up being the Concord one? Like and I like unironically, just imagine the what if scenario that like the Concord episode ends up just being like absolute fucking fire. And people are like, holy shit, dude, like this is really good. They were planning on delivering like they're going to deliver an episode of this like every week if we played Concord. Bro, I wish they'd bring them back. After they've already closed down the studio. Fuck, that would be so good. This is actually probably going to be pretty good. I don't think like every single episode is going to hit, but I think that like a few of them probably will. And honestly, you don't need every single one to hit. I'm so looking forward to the Armored Core one. Just like Love, Death, and Robots, some were amazing, some weren't. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what you're just going to run into. I think that's kind of what people kind of expect from it. Basically, notice how little of Concord... I don't even think I even saw Concord in the whole thing. To be real with you. I don't think I saw Concord at all. No, they're not going to remove Concord from it. They've already made the Concord episode, so they're not going to pull it out. $40K and AC, you're going to wipe the floor. Yeah, I think those are probably the two that are going to go the hardest for most people. I think those are the ones that people are looking forward to the most. I know those are the ones that I'm looking forward to the most.
Themselves at risk, both from...
All right, let's check it out. I know this game has gone through a lot of evolutions.
Extraction adventure.
I just like what the thing was with like the extraction stuff. Like, there's just so much competition for that. I just don't understand why you wouldn't have just gone ahead and just made it a looter shooter and stick with that from the start. There's so much less competition on the looter shooter side. But I mean, like, it looks good, and I've heard a lot of really good things about it from a lot of people. But yeah.
Set in a distant future here on Earth. Players start in Speranza, one of the few places in the Rust Belt that is relatively safe from ARC machines that occupy the surface. There are thousands of people living down here, and there is always a need for vital materials from the world above. The raiders are the ones who put themselves at risk, both from ARC as well as other rival raiders.
I like the like 1970s sci-fi look of it. I do really like the art direction in this. I think it looks really cool. AI voice, yeah, it's another one of these like AI voice trailers. I fucking hate it.
It is from here that players can reach different parts of the Rust Belt through a network of repurposed tunnels.
Okay. Yeah, I like the overall vibe.
The raider we are following is on a quest, a job to obtain a seed vault from a research facility deeper into the city. The others in the squad are after medical supplies, some rare parts.
I'm noticing that
And
like sound is gonna play a big deal in this, because it's like the noises that you make when you're like interacting with objects. Like that guy was like peeling that plate off back there. It's a very like unique sound. What is this? Arc Raiders.
There's a pharmacy nearby.
I found some chemicals.
A red flare is a signal of a raider getting knocked down. But you never really know what happened there until you go look. Could have been a fight between raiders or Ark. You never know.
Wasp, over there.
Let's go there.
Wasp.
Okay. Zip lines. Okay. Oh man, that's actually really interesting. So they have a lot of little traps that are laid out for the players to make sure that it's very difficult for you to be able to play stealthy if you're trying to move long distances. Not only are they making it where like a lot of the sounds are very loud, so it's very purposeful in, you know, like what kind of, so people will know if you're looting something, people will know if you're, you know, reloading a gun or whatever it might be, right? But like you saw how they put all those birds up on the zip line. Well, that's there, so then that way people can see, oh shit, a bunch of birds just started flying off. Somebody's using a zip line. It's very, very interesting. You know what, Norsky? I am fucking really sick of these people using these like ultra wide trailers. There's like a couple games that I've seen do it over the, or like, oh, I had to keep using footage for Star Wars Outlaws, right? And like the footage that I had to get from the Star Wars Outlaws was all from it was all ultra wide. That's all they had.
Let's go to that tower.
No fall damage? Must just be from certain heights. Oh, it's cool. It actually has like genuine bullet physics when you're like hitting like a very specific spot. Okay. Why are they shooting these things? They're not doing anything. Maybe they're just like drones that like notify people of like notify other robots of where you're at. Maybe that's all they do.
They've reached the pharmacy now.
Let's get over there.
It looks like they are probably the
Got
first
subject
ones here.
here.
But you can never be sure, so it is wise to double check your corners.
Hey, Raider.
Don't shoot, I'm a friend.
You wanna split the loot?
Like, you already know that that's gonna be used for all the wrong reasons, right? Like, people are gonna be like, hi, and then immediately just get fucking shot. Like, I'm sorry, like, you wanna know how I play this kind of game? If somebody's gonna like try to befriend me and they go, hi, I'm gonna shoot you.
Making friends in the Rust Belt is not easy,
Maddie.
but that doesn't mean it can't happen.
Okay. Oh, your aim sucks. And also, why are you trying to shoot that far of a distance with this?
Careful, that's
Do
a
you-
hornet.
Do you not have another weapon on your back? All you have is this pistol? Is this like a class game? Do you have to like pick a class and your class uses only very specific weapons or what? The fake voice chat is ridiculous. I hate it when trailers do that.
Bound antiseptic.
This is it.
Some plastic.
Looks like they got what they came for. And now it's time to get out of here. Everything that you find will be lost if you don't make it out alive. But raiders know this. It's what they do.
I'm gonna say right now, like, it actually looks really good. I mean, even though I'm like picking at things, like, I'll be straight with you. Like, I think that the game actually looks good. Like, it looks like it plays pretty well, and like the environments and stuff look really good. The sound design seems really good. Obviously, there's some cheesy parts of it, but outside of that, like, I think overall it actually is looking pretty solid.
Raider, contact.
It's just, you know, the thing is that like when it comes to games like this, when it comes to like the extraction shooters in general, I just don't know. I don't know exactly what their long-term viability is going to be, and I don't think it's. And like for some odd reason, the games industry like feels like it's a market that needs to be tapped, and like they need to make a bunch of these games. But I just don't think it's necessary. To me, in a lot of cases, I feel like extraction shooters are gonna sit in the same realm as like MMOs, right? Where like there's no point in having a shitload of MMOs. There's just no reason to, because like there's just not enough. Like, you want to try to make sure people are people want to play games where they're about as like condensed as possible. And like, you're not going to want to be like you can't invest yourself in more than one of these games. So I just don't I don't see it being like, I just don't understand why every single developer under the sun wants to make one. Well, and that's the thing too, like, see, like, so Windows just said right here, almost all extraction shooters work on wipe cycles, and people don't want to lose their progress. People also don't like losing their progress when they fucking die either. That's why I think there's a very like niche audience that you're speaking to with this kind of game. Don't get me wrong, I think that there's a space in the industry for a more like commercialized one, right? Like a more general or wider audience one or something like that. Something that's not Tarkov. Because I think Tarkov has a very specific audience. And while there are a lot of people that would probably like to play Tarkov, they just don't want to. I want PvE extraction, not PvP.
Engaging in firefights may sometimes be the only way.
I mean, I could like
out of a tight
both.
Spot. Other times, being cautious and staying out of sight is the better option to make it out. For raiders hoping to thrive, the Rust Belt is filled with opportunities and secrets. If you know where to look. You'll have to stay vigilant up there on the surface, where an armada of arc machines roam unchecked. Where motives of other raiders remain dangerously unclear. You'll need to be resourceful, work with what you have, and sometimes make plans on the fly. What are you prepared to risk to get what you want? Ultimately, you get to decide what kind of raider you'll become. Shaping your own legacy, your raider, and your home.
I think this is like one of those things where you're just gonna have to kind of wait and see what it looks like when it comes out, and then kind of go from there. It's hard to tell. Like, I've talked to a few people that have already been playing it, and like, it's like pre-alphas and stuff like that, and like the developers are very open to criticism. They're very open to like working with people to be able to like make sure that the game is good. But whether or not this actually turns into be a good game, I don't know. A lot of people really liked the the finals, right? That's who made this. People have made the finals, but I don't know. It's just the market for these kind of games. I don't know how. I don't know how it's gonna work out for it. The Division? Well, it's not the Division. They're not doing the looter shooter part of it anymore. I think that this game would have done very well if they did stick to the looter shooter part. That was one of the reasons why I was looking forward to it when it was first announced. Because I was under the impression that this was going to be a looter shooter, but it's not. I mean, either way, I think it looks like a high quality game. Whether or not it actually hits an audience or not, I'm not really too sure. Did they pivot mid-dev cycle? Yeah, they sure did. Yeah, they sure did. That happens. There's a massive hole in the looter shooter market right now. I don't know why people aren't trying to fill it. Oh, I mean, it's going to be filled next year. Borderlands 4 comes out. Or are you specifically talking about like live service? Chances are probably. Here's the thing. Chances are the reason why it's not being filled is because if I had to take a guess, it's probably because people didn't see Destiny failing or Destiny making a turn for the worst or Destiny downscaling. Yeah, and the Division 3 is in development as well. Borderlands movie has no impact at all on Borderlands 4. Borderlands fans didn't go watch Borderlands movie. Yeah, nobody went to watch it. Something people didn't watch doesn't mean they yeah, something people didn't watch can't hurt the game, right? So many new games in development, can't wait. Yeah. Like, here's the funny thing is, like, you guys aren't gonna really catch me like being like overly skeptical about Borderlands. You're just not gonna find me being skeptical about Borderlands. They could make the most fucking cringeworthy worst story in video game history, and as long as it still has the exact same gameplay as Borderlands 3, doesn't matter. Still good. Borderlands 3 is a great game as long as you have it on mute. All right, I wanted to see this.
All right, hello everyone, welcome back. Last time we covered Soulframe.
Keep in mind, this game Soulframe caught a lot of flack. It caught a lot of flack from a lot of people, and it was all Digital Extreme's fault for not giving people the context that the game was in early alpha. So people were under the assumption that the game was like ready to release or getting ready to release. So then everybody dogpiled on the game pretty hard and thought it was going to be like the biggest flop of the year or next year or whatever. But it's just it's in very early development.
And it was a few months ago, back during TennoCon.
It's also the fact that I think in a lot of cases, like Digital Extremes has such a positive community around their game, around Warframe, that I think they may have forgotten how to talk to audiences outside of their own community, if that makes any sense. Like, it's kind of turned into like a little bit of an echo chamber. And as a result of that, they didn't feel like it was necessary for them to explain like how they develop games, how they developed Warframe, right? And even when they were like talking about some of the backlash that they had gotten for like the first trailer for Soulframe, they only did it in like a dev short, so it wasn't really like a public message where like they could reach those like wider audiences that watch those trailers that may have gotten turned off by it. Blake, thank you for the 5. I find it annoying when people tell you that you shouldn't have an opinion on it if you haven't watched it. when the trailers and reviews say it's bad, I think you can watch a trailer and make an assumption. That's like trying to tell people that they're not like, you can't judge fucking you know what, I'm not even gonna like try to give a caveat to it. It's just a dumbass opinion.
When they revealed some extended gameplay footage, which unfortunately got a rather poor reception, if you don't recall. Now this
you're not a woman, don't talk about women. Like shit like that, where it's just like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude?
is mainly due to there being quite a few rough and buggy
It's the same thing that you can like, you literally draw the same kind of conclusion to that. People just want to try to cut off conversation because they can't deal with fucking criticism. That's all it comes down to.
looking animations throughout the whole video. Even with those issues, there was a lot I liked about the reveal. The tone and setting, the characters and the environment, and just the
it
general
all looked really
structure
good.
of the game.
I think visually, like I think that was the thing that caught people off guard, and that's probably why a lot of people thought that the game was more finished than it actually was specifically because of the fact that it looked so polished. It looked like the game was like basically ready to be shipped more than anything else, because it does look really good. The character animations and stuff looked pretty solid. It's just the combat looks so fucking god awful.
That they were showing what they're working on. To me, much of this was appealing, but at the same time, yeah, janky combat animations, floaty character movement, NPCs glitching through the terrain, and a handful of other things were quite rough in a few spots, no doubt about it. Well, over the past months, on a few occasions, they have been directly addressing much of this feedback, and based on what we are seeing here, it looks like they're actually making steps in the right direction. Combat and movement already look much better, and I mean, given that the game is still a ways out, not planned to even enter early access until later in 2025, there is still...
Holy shit. That is a massive... I'm gonna want you guys to watch this again. This is the combat that we saw just a couple months ago. This is the combat that they have now.
Janky combat animations, floaty character movement, NPCs glitching through the terrain, and a handful of other things were quite rough in a few spots, no doubt about it. Well, over the past months, on a few occasions, they have been directly addressing much of this feedback, and based on what we are seeing here, it looks like they're actually making steps in the right direction. Combat and movement already look much better, and I mean, given that the game is still a ways out, not planned to even enter early access until later in 2025, there is...
That looks like light years better. Holy shit. Much less floaty. I mean, like, here's the thing. I'm not saying this is like perfect. I'm not saying it's finished. I'm just saying this looks way better. Way better.
Still plenty of time for even further improvements, so I remain hopeful here. I'm really hoping that they turn Soulframe, or at least the public perception of Soulframe, they turn it around and the game ends up in a really good spot by the time we get our hands on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at all this new stuff, what we have learned, and what they have worked on in these past few months. So the first update we got came from a devlog in mid-September, and one of the initial things they discussed right out the gate here was the fact that they have been listening to feedback and have been polishing combat.
I mean, that's like one of the reasons why people like this company to begin with, is because of the fact that they are genuinely listening, and you're not really going to find them. You're not going to catch them sleeping. Like, they're going to hear what you have to say.
We are putting a lot of work into updating combat. You know, there is a little bit of jank still in there, but we want to get it out. Going on further to specify that they have done a bunch of animation updates, fine-tuning things across the board. Enemies got a hit react pass, which should help improve the sense of feedback and impact when they are struck. And
that's what it was. That's what was missing.
On a technical level, they've implemented a new feature called root motion warping, which extends transition animations to help eliminate the presence of sliding. Now, this was one of the bigger complaints from that gameplay reveal, where there were moments that the player character appeared to kind of be skating around the environment, and as a result, didn't feel really grounded in the world. Now, as I pointed out in my last video, this whole thing reminded me very much so of Warframe.
And that's like my whole worry, and my one thing that I want them to stay away from as much as they possibly can is, do not make this game Warframe. Do not make this game Warframe. You think they will use this to change melee systems in Warframe? No.
where that kind of sliding occurs quite frequently, but maybe just isn't as noticeable given the general high speed of movement and combat in that game. Whereas here in Soulframe, with the speed of everything,
because let's be real, like melee combat in Warframe just isn't like, it's not a priority. And Warframe is basically like you're just permanently always trying to one-shot everything anyway, so it doesn't really matter whether like the enemies actually have like hit reactions and shit.
In quite a bit, the sliding around just sticks out way more. So this new feature, this root motion warping, is going to do things like extend the animation of a jump when leaping towards distant enemies so that there is less noticeable sliding in between those transitions and while moving around. Another thing they mentioned was that during TennoCon's showcase, there were some enemies that were falling through the mesh, essentially melting into the ground when they died, and they've since added collision to ragdolls so that this particular issue no longer happens. And when wrapping up the discussion about the combat improvements and polish that they've made, they said, preludes means pre-alpha. There is a bit of forgiveness you need.
I reached out to what other like a few of their people and it was like, you guys need to change your fucking messaging because people are not going to understand what this game is and they're not going to understand what stage of development it's in. You need to know that this is like for the, and here's the funny thing is, this does not look like a pre-alpha game. And like, that's like, and I think if people understood that like this is the quality that you're seeing in pre-alpha, then they would be like, oh shit, this might be a banger.
Improvements and polish that they've made, they said, preludes means pre-alpha. There is a bit of forgiveness you need to give us. Sometimes going super detailed on some combat skating, for example, is not worth it versus, say, getting the RPG progression systems in, which is kind of our goal for the next test. And I mean, he's not wrong. Fine-tuned polishing isn't the first priority.
But here's the thing. If you're going to advertise the game, the look of the game is your priority, and the feel of the game is your priority, not the systems of the game.
Game development. In fact, oftentimes it's one of the last, but also they chose to show the game in its current state, so they certainly did this knowingly, right? Getting feedback that an unfinished version of your game looks unfinished shouldn't be all that surprising. And mind you, I don't think they're surprised. In fact, they're not surprised at all. They've said as much that this feedback is welcome and expected. The reaction to Soulframe's gameplay reveal is...
well, why do you think that they're giving people access to the pre-alpha and you can play it now and be a part of the development process? Like they very much want to make sure that they are making the game that players want to play.
Expected side effect when showing the public footage of something this early in development. From the onset, though, they have said that their whole plan was to get the community involved as early as possible, and in that spirit, they're clearly willing to show us gameplay footage that is far from complete. And so yeah, the feedback that the gameplay footage last time looked unpolished, had lots of issues, not too surprising, goes without saying, and it seems like they're working on it. Now, at the end of the video, they had a quick Q&A during which we got some info. They've got multiple new weapons in queue, including a mace and greatsword, and eventually the plan is to have hundreds of different weapons and fighting styles available in the game, so there should be loads of variety here. In fact, they're even intending to add a whole lot more ranged and magic options in the future, as so far we have predominantly pretty much been seeing mostly melee. Fast travel is something that will be coming down the road when the game is big enough, which right now it really isn't. It's a fairly confined area with some dungeons inside of it, but in the meantime,
I'd like to see a lot of different fighting styles. I definitely want, like, because the cool thing is they already have like a lot of like inspiration to pull off of from like Warframe, because they've already made so many melee weapons over there. I just hope that like each fighting style is unique and like really distinct.
They do have some additional traversal stuff like mounts being added to the game shortly. They also plan to start showcasing a lot more of the multiplayer elements of Soulframe, as they wanted to drive home that this is very much an MMO light in a similar vein to something like Destiny, where you're going to come across other players in the world with whom you can group up. But up until this point, you know, we've mostly been seeing solo gameplay footage. And then they also revealed that...
That's interesting. I didn't know that's the direction they were going with.
The official forums are now live for anyone. You don't need to be part of the ongoing test in order to access these. You can just jump in and read what people are talking about. Now, as for the currently play-tested game, the people who are in the Preludes version happening right now, they mentioned adding some new content to that latest build, with more encounters, secrets, and puzzles being added to the game's dungeons, as well as more environmental clues hinting at nearby secrets and objectives that a lot of players were missing. And then following that video update, last month in October, we got an hour-long live stream, which not only gave us a ton more info, but also came with a bunch of new gameplay footage as well. So they kicked things off with actually giving a sort of a brief recap of what kind of game Soulframe is, which they currently describe it as an MMO light with a dense overworld full of activities. There's progression gating, so you're going to have to complete certain tasks or reach certain levels to access different areas.
I really like the look of the world. I like, that's one of the things that I've always really liked about the yeah, I got into the Preludes. Yeah, I got a code for it already. If I get any extra codes, I'll let you guys know.
They've got dungeons with procedural layouts, similar to how it's done in Warframe. You'll move through hallways and rooms, and
you have an overworld and dungeons this time around. I like that.
Different sections that will be placed in procedural ways so that every run feels a little different. They're also calling this a fantasy looter with a big co-op and multiplayer focus. To quote here, they said, so you play it, you rank up, you get loot, you progress your character and get more powerful. You earn different packs in the game, which are kind of like our classes. Then they go on to say that they're going to be MMO-like towns or social hubs where you will see other players and talk to NPCs. It's got a time of day system, as well as weather and events that take place. And at least currently in this iteration of the game's testing, it is PC only, but will be coming to consoles down the road eventually as they get closer to official release. So that,
I wonder if they're actually, like, the funny thing is that they have an opportunity to actually make some like really cool and meaningful boss fights that you really wouldn't get out of something like you wouldn't get out of, like, you don't really get the same thing out of Warframe or something like that. They could technically do like raids and stuff like that too if they wanted here.
Is like the high-level overview. Next, they specifically talked about the feedback that they got from TennoCon and what they've been doing to address it. Most of which was just sort of a rehashing of what we covered from the prior video. But there is a blurb here pulled from recent patch notes that I think puts a bow on this whole topic in terms of what they've been doing. So they say that combat continues to undergo reworks, focusing on smoother transitions, improved hit reactions, and enhanced visuals and mechanical clarity of attacks. Expect less sliding, reduced clipping, and more grounded, connected movement with refined root motion warping tied to lock-on targeting. AI combat has seen improvements with enhanced ragdoll physics and increased responsiveness and fluidity. So there you go. Again, kind of puts a bow on the whole thing. These
and the thing is that they're still talking about how they're still working on it. I think that's another thing too. It's not saying like, hey, like here's the improvements that we did, which already look really good, but they're saying that it's already still going through reworks. So I think that's really cool.
Things that they've worked on in the months since that gameplay reveal. And from what we've seen, it does look much better. During the live stream, they also reiterated the fact that the game is still in early production and that any feedback is welcome, saying, I think the big thing is that we are in pre-alpha. Some of the really negative feedback I got was like, what are you doing? And the answer is, we actually want to hear the good and the bad up front. The worst thing that we could do, at least in terms of how DE works, is to go dark for a very long period of time. So we're going to be showing you warts and all. Going on to
yeah, I get where they're coming from. I made a whole video based on the premise of you need to make sure that you're telling people that this is a pre-alpha, and like there's nothing wrong with wanting to be able to like get players involved early, but you have to let them know like what stage of development you're in. Otherwise, you're going to like market your game in like the wrong way, right? Like people, like first impressions matter, and the last thing you want to do is have a bad first impression and that be the only impression people have of your game. And that was my biggest fear when it came to like their reveals and their showing of Soulframe.
To add that this really is the point of this pre-alpha testing and of showing these gameplay videos early on to get that player feedback on issues and concerns as soon as possible. And so, you know, this is great, honestly. Clearly, they're not shy about showing off the game that's still a work in progress. In fact, in this very stream, there were multiple points with bugs, glitches, and stuff occurring, like NPCs not acting properly, animations bugging out, characters all over the place, not where they're supposed to be. In fact, the game even hard crashed.
That actually looked really cool
stream.
though.
So they're not shying away from the fact that the game still has a lot of work to be done. And as far as I'm concerned, Let them cook. Make the game as good as it can be.
Amen, brother. Let them fucking cook. Let them fucking cook. Plus, on top of that, the thing is that we're talking about a game that is likely like it's probably still like a couple of years away from being released.
I'll play it in 2025 when it's more polished and finished, right? Now, best of all from the stream, though, was the fact that they had gameplay running in the background for like a solid 45 minutes, during which we got a much better sense of how the open world is structured, as well as getting a closer look at those updates to combat. So the gameplay showcase featured a pair of players walking around, exploring, and doing a few things. Forgive the quality here, by the way. The stream itself was capped at 1080p, the bitrate wasn't great, and the whole thing was cropped, making it even smaller, so this stuff is going to look very muddy, just how it is with the video quality that we got. So during these 45 minutes, we saw the pair clearing some camps of enemies, at which point, yes, we got to...
I really wish that they would start streaming on both YouTube and Twitch at the same time, because like they do it sometimes, but they don't do it every time, and I wish they did do it every time. Because I think it would make a really big difference, at least on the video quality that we'd be able to see later.
Good look at the combat in action, and it does look a lot smoother than it did in that showcase during TennoCon. We saw them collecting loot by opening these chests. We saw them rescuing caged animals and setting them free. They completed a couple of public events. They came across a town at one point. They visited the Nightfold a few times, which this is basically like your home base where you've got crafting vendors. You can visit them whenever you're not in combat. It's got this cool transition animation of you doing like a trust fall into the ground and then appearing in this area. And yeah, you unlock NPCs as you play, getting access to their stations and locations, giving you more systems to play with. In fact, at one point during the stream, they did the whole quest line to unlock the blacksmith, which involved finding this helm and then carrying it to a nearby building where they found the NPC, with some fighting that occurred in between. We also got a sneak peek of the social hub that has quest NPCs, vendors, and this is where other players will be running around. And they showed us a little bit of the underground cave system. These are located beneath elder trees found in the world, and this is where the big bear creature is going to be found. Now, as the stream went on, not only were they playing the game, but they also were talking about it, sharing.
I've been wanting a code for ages. Just sign up. They've been handing them out like hotcakes lately. I feel like times have changed. Players are not the same in 2013. The market works differently. It's harder to pull a Warframe in today's market, starting a little and slowly and building up your player base in contrast to current games that spike day one and then people forget about them. Like, I don't think that where do you sign up? You go to Soulframe. I think it's like soulframe.com or something like that. You can just search for the website on Google. Just search for Soulframe. What I was gonna say is that I agree with that in some ways. I mean, the problem is you want both. You kind of already want you kind of already want people to kind of have a early buy-in and be like a part of your community and like roll into like the actual full launch of the game and already have like that foundation built. But in a lot of cases, you still need that like monstrous start as well, because the monstrous start at the beginning gives you a lot of really valuable publicity at the very start. Like, let's not pretend that like seeing a game like, oh, I don't know, Baldur's Gate 3 hit like 250,000 concurrent players on its first day. We can't pretend like when that happens and people see so many people are playing a game that a bunch of other people don't get curious. Like, you still want to have that really good launch day.
Some info about their plans and goals. They said that with Soulframe, they really intend to lean very heavily into these action RPG elements. They're going to have different skill trees for each weapon class, so as you use a weapon, you're going to level it up, and then you get points which you use to unlock new abilities and functionality in that weapon's trees. So for example, for the long blades, we saw the skills to unlock the ability to parry, to do a weapon throw, to increase your stagger damage and bonus crit, just to name a few. Cool. The packs, these are basically like class archetypes, and they come with their own skill tree as well as a unique pack weapon, and this acts as like a secondary weapon that can be used as a weapon, but it is also used to cast many of your pack skills. So for example, here it would be like the Fey Pact fulfills this stealth archer fantasy. You have access to this special ancestral bow, and you use it to attack enemies, but you can also turn yourself into a butterfly, which acts as your invisibility, letting you sneak up and backstab enemies. And then also Also,
pretty
in
cool.
terms of abilities, they have gone back and forth between having cooldowns or filling a resource in combat, which you use to cast your skills. As of now, they are settling on the cooldown system, so you will cycle between different cooldowns while in combat. And they spent some time talking about the fact that they're trying to find a...
I mean, I feel like that's just going to come down to like combat feel. You're just going to have to keep testing it and see how players like something like that. I think it just depends on the game for me. Like personally, I like cooldowns more than I like anything else, but yeah. Have you ever thought of starting a Reddit for people with gaming stuff that they'd like you to cover? Yeah, I'm working on that right now, actually. I'm working on that. We'll get it together.
Balance between self-discovery and exploration while not being too obtuse. They actually reference the fact that from surveys of recent tests, a lot of players didn't even realize that they had a crafting system in the game, presumably because they don't have some like main story quest line that gives you a direct marked location of exactly where you go and how you unlock the blacksmith.
Yeah.
Instead, it was just something that you had to stumble across in the world. They're going to be fine-tuning this because while they still want the sense of exploration and discovery, people should know that there's blacksmithing in the game and crafting, and if they don't stumble across it, completely missing out on an entire progression system, not great, right? So they're still working on it.
Well, I mean, I see somebody like, oh, stealth archer, how novel. Yeah, I know. It's pretty you know, here's the thing. If you're going to be a stealth archer, like if there's the option to have it, everybody's going to be it.
On that. They want the exploration, they want the discovery, they don't want to be too obtuse about this stuff. All right, we got some details at the end of the stream from a quick Q&A. This revealed that there is going to be player trading, so you can get items and then trade it with other players, and that they're going to be ramping up testing very soon, increasing the number of players invited every week. Plus, on top of that, going forward, anyone who gets an invite in the future is also going to receive 4 extra keys whom they can give to...
That's why there's been so many extra keys. Rocket Hayes, thank you for the tier 1, man. Appreciate that. 4 months in a row. Thank you.
To whoever they
That's
like.
why they've been giving them out, because they want you to play with your
People are
friends.
going to be getting into the game in the not too distant future. Then after that stream, most recently, just a few days ago, we got a second devlog, and here's what info we got there. We saw some showcases of that root warping tech in action, which again is there to help reduce that sense of skating or sliding around. When you're attacking a target with something like a lunge, it's going to extend the transition of that animation so that there's less sliding before and after it takes place. They've done additional combat and AI improvements. These include an increase in simultaneous enemy attacks with smoother weapon equipping and improved positioning during fights. Enemy patrols now feature varied starting and ending points. This prevents endless circling. AI behavior, navigation, and animations have all been refined with new
Yeah, I
flinch
mean, it looks like infinitely better than what it used to before.
enhanced movement, and that root warping to deliver a more grounded and fluid feeling combat. Enemies now also display a stagger UI that fills during battle. They've overhauled the entire stagger system in conjunction with the animation side of improved hit reacts. The degree of any hit react is going to depend on the type of attack you strike them with, whether it's a slash from your weapon, a kick, or casting a spell. And then the higher the damage, the harder hitting the strike, basically, the enemies are going to react accordingly.
Yeah, I really like when games actually have that. So it feels like it kind of feels like they might have watched a video of mine. It kind of feels like they might have watched a video of mine.
As you would expect. And they talk about having reined in the previously strong two-tone color grading in the game to try to make the visuals appear a bit more natural. At the end of this, we got another Q&A. Some tidbits from that include they're going to be opening up the game to a much wider audience in 2025. Previously, they were planning this for 2024, but as we have covered here, they've been busy doing a lot of work to improve and polish the combat animations and all of that, so this got pushed out a bit. And
so chances are they're probably going to move into like alpha next year, if I had to take a wild guess. They need to remove Soul from the title. So can no game so like my question is, like, I get where people are coming from with that, but should no game ever have Soul in the name of the title now because of Dark Souls? Like, are we that fucking programmed that now anything with Soul must be Dark Souls? Like, come on, man. Yeah, it's dumb as shit. I don't know what to say about that. Like, I've heard that a couple of times before, where people are like, "You need to take the soul out of there." Like, fuck.
Then presumably at some point in 2025, the opening up of access is going to include
We're all
either
bots
open
now.
test or
Always
founders
were.
packs that you could buy to get early access. In the meantime, though, as mentioned, they're ramping up in
Yeah, exactly. Somebody actually brings it up. The name of the game has something to do with the story. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
invites, and they're giving out 4 friends and family keys to anyone who gets invited, inviting even more people. They reiterated the fact that despite Soul being in the game name, this is not meant to be a Souls-born, Souls-like game in the vein of a Dark Souls or Elden Ring. That's not the kind of game they're making. It's more traditional action RPG with heavy through lines to a game like Warframe. You've got the open world areas, you've got the social hubs, you've got the dungeons with procedural layouts and everything that we've discussed.
Yeah, and like your personal like zone that you like fall back into is basically an orbiter. Like they're still going to be it's basically going to be like fantasy Warframe in a lot of ways. Yeah.
And in terms of multiplayer and playing with your friends, the current max group size that they're planning is 4 people. They are going to have the social hubs where you can meet up with other people. And then also, while you're out exploring the world, they're going to have some system where you can see the souls of other players, and they're working on ways you'll be able to interact with or invite them to your party. We also got from the most recent test.
So they are actually adapting some things from from Dark Souls or Elden Ring. Then, you know, where you could like see people like running through the world, stuff like that.
Public patch notes, not under NDA. This is all available just right on the Soulframe website. And a couple of interesting things from here. There's the new arts system. So packs and weapons can now be leveled up through combat to unlock unique arts. Weapon arts allow envoys to customize their playstyle with specialized bonuses like Smite, Perfect Throw, and more. Looks like they are going with the classic RPG weapon rarity and colors. So weapons fall into these rarity tiers with common, uncommon, and rare. There's also going to be these virtue and skill requirements for each tier. If a virtue requirement is unmet, you deal 50% less damage. So it's not going to be something that prevents you from using these weapons, but you won't be as effective unless you reach certain stat thresholds, essentially. And they added a few more new weapons to the game, including a swift sword, daggers, a polearm, a new sword and shield, and a brand new bow. So with all that said, you know, I gotta say, the TennoCon showcase had its issues without question. A lot of it looked really janky, but I think they've done a good job of addressing that feedback so far.
And and here's the thing, like I think the vast majority of people that like have already played Warframe kind of knew that was going to end up being the case, and the vast majority of people were going to not gonna lie, I don't like. Then get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, if you're gonna take shit that fucking seriously and you get your bent out of shape for saying something like that, I don't know what to tell you. This ain't the place for you. Then. Peace out, dog. Peace out. Like, you're that fucking soft just because I said something was dumb. My bad. I didn't know that this is. I didn't know that this was a safe space. Got my water bottle. They use the same engine, so it makes sense. Yeah, they use the same engine. You know what I mean? So like, and the thing is that like, I think the vast majority of people kind of understood that like, you know, like the people that already have played a DE game, the people that have played Warframe for years, like they have they know how DE develops a game. They know how long it can take for them to be able to get a game to like where they want, or you know what I mean, or get it the way how they want it, how they make a game specifically for the players. And they know that it takes a while, but they know that they're listening. And I think that's probably the most like important thing that's out there, right? Like the most important thing here is that they actually listen to their players. And anybody who's anyone would have known that for sure, yeah, this game would have changed. I'll say this, I'm actually shocked with how quick it changed. I didn't think that they were going to try to flip it that quick, but I think it's a really good thing that they did and wanted to make a big show of it and say, hey, look, this is what we can do with a little bit of time, right? And I mean, we're talking about what, like a 2 or 3 month turnaround, and all of a sudden they've almost completely revamped the combat. That's fucking crazy. I love that. Love you for that shit drops. Well, I mean, like, where are these people coming from? I don't know. Some soft ass motherfuckers. I have no idea. It's so stupid. But I mean, you say something dumb as shit like they need to take soul out of the name. And then I say that's dumb, and you're like, I'm sick of you telling people they're dumb. Well, I mean, like, when you're fucking stupid, what do you want me to do? Lie to you? The world already does that enough.
Namely, they've not shied away from it. If anything, they've been embracing the complaints, saying, yeah, we totally agree, this stuff needs work. And in just the handful of months since that TennoCon gameplay, we can see those improvements in action. Like these latest gameplay reveals, the stuff from these dev vlogs, as well as the stuff from that live stream, this all already looks better. And it's only been a couple of months of them working on making it better. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I think the game is looking pretty good, frankly. As mentioned, many more people are going to be getting their hands on Soulframe very soon in the coming weeks and months. They are inviting more testers, as well as giving those 4 bonus keys that they can hand out to anyone. When that happens, by the way, I'd recommend going to the subreddit or forums, because people are...
If anything, we could have a debate on the frame part. If anything, I'd be willing to have a debate on the frame part, so that they could create some separation between it and Warframe. But I get what they're trying to do.
Probably going to be giving these away if they don't have 4 friends readily available who would want to take them. So odds are, if you want to try the game, you're going to have the opportunity to do so very soon. Like I said, I remain hopeful. I'm pretty impressed with how...
Soul Train. I like that. Yeah. How about Soul Plane?
They have received the feedback and addressed a lot of these issues. I mean, they pretty much immediately went forward and did something to address the sliding issue, the lack of groundedness, the skating around the environment. Like that's like one of the first things that they address, and they've clearly already made improvements on. That's impressive, right? As mentioned, the game is in pre-alpha, still a long ways to go. Early
Soul Pact? Yeah, I mean, that's not that bad. Frame War. Ooh, that one's really nice too. Soul Pets.
access launch isn't happening until probably later in 2025. I'm keeping my hopes up for Soulframe. Not gonna lie, I really am. I
am
mean,
too.
Warframe has
I'm looking
proven
forward to it.
that this developer will stick to a game and continue to add to and improve it over time. That game's been going strong for 10 plus years. Maybe they'll be able to do the same with Soulframe as well. But already, I like what I've seen in such a short window. They revealed something. Feedback wasn't great. They addressed the feedback head on. It's looking better. That's about all you can ask for as far as I'm concerned. So there you go. That's gonna do it for today. That is the update on Soulframe.
I think what's really disappointing.
Stay tuned. I will certainly be talking about and covering this game more in the future, but that does it for now. Thank you as always for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you all later.
I think what's sad though is that like you gotta like think about it like Asmongold's video of him like dunking on the game was very they got a lot of views. A lot of people saw that, right? And that's just him. That's not even counting the people that like watched the trailer or whatever and just didn't like it. And I think that you know, this video here only got like 82K views. Chances are the audience that they turned off aren't gonna see this stuff, nor are they probably even interested in in the first place. So like there's something else that you have to do there. I think the best thing that they can do is just continue to do what they're doing and then try to make a big show, of the changes in Warframe in like a year from now. Personally, what I would really like to see them do is like, you know, hop on the big stage, maybe like next year's video game awards, like drop like a really hot trailer for the game, like completely unannounced. Don't even tell people what the game even is. The guy you're watching already has another video on Soulframe today. Really? Oh, so you played it. Oh, okay. Force gets jiggy with it, man. Guy plays a lot of games. How long has he been doing this? 14 years he's been on YouTube. 14 years he's been making videos on YouTube. He started off with StarCraft guides. Or playthroughs, it looks like. Holy shit. He went hard on holy shit, he went hard on StarCraft. Holy shit. That's what he used to look like 13 years ago. Fuck, he's an old man now. This must be like when he first started. That's crazy. I always like looking at some of these like more established channels that have been around for a long time and see like where things changed. Cause like he was pure StarCraft content for a long time, for like years. That's crazy. That's crazy. For millennials, not old people. That's true. Yeah, we just stay forever young. Never liked this guy's videos. I like Force. I think that, but I mean, like, here's the thing, and this is probably where, like, where I will. This is probably where I will. Oh man. It's one of the reasons why I watch a lot of content creators is because watching a lot of content creators, this is what he was. I noticed he didn't stream today. His glow is too strong. What I don't understand, like, I watch a lot of people, a lot of different content creators and their videos because I like to try to absorb as many writing styles, perspectives, and things like that while I'm, you know, when I'm trying to cover any type of topic. That's all it is. I just like a diversity of opinions and perspectives. I think it's the best way for me to be able to find like a true balance for my own. But dude, I don't understand why this dude, why he does not just use his fucking camera that he has on his fucking computer. Like, he literally could just hit record on OBS and just make the video and then post it. But he always uses like a cell phone or like a fucking C920. It's so fucking goofy. Scuffed on purpose? I think so. Maybe he's lazy as fuck. I guess.
Perfect.
I didn't mean to hit that.
Jimmy, I'm tapping 5 to
what the fuck?
bestow a boon satyr
Why is it
on my cudgel troll.
Why is it still playing? I turned it off. Shorts are so jank. Where is it at? I wanted to watch. I'm gonna watch like one more thing. Let's see what he has to say. Actually, he just posted this. I'm not gonna watch it. I'll wait for tomorrow for that. I'll wait for tomorrow for that. YouTube's been doing updates for years. Yeah. Give me 1 second. So anyway, you seem like you're busy. What do you think of the game Skylanders? Do you think a game would like that would be? I don't know what that game is, man. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of it. Yeah, so I don't feel well. I don't know why. I don't really know what's going on right now, but Just before stream, I started to get like a little bit of a headache, but it really wasn't like that bad. And then I took some like ibuprofen, thinking that it was gonna like get a little bit better, and it's not. And it's like right here, like behind, the behind your eye one, like the one that like really fucking drives you crazy. And then I'm also feeling like a little bit on like the nauseous side for some reason. And yeah, I'm not feeling too good right now. I was hoping to be able to have a full stream and stuff like that. This is definitely not in the plan, that's for fucking sure. Just literally just before going live, I was feeling fine, but like I've just been trying to like chill and like, you know what I mean? Like I was just trying to take the stream slow, thinking like, I'll give it a couple hours and it'll probably be fine, but I'm not I'm for some odd reason not getting there. I thought something was probably up because like, you guys ever have one of those mornings where like when you go to wake up, you feel like you're being like, you feel like you're waking from the dead? You know what I mean? Where like you don't want to wake up, you just can't.
You heard of the Omnific, 2-base players and a drummer. Fantastic stuff. Hope you feel better soon, man.
Thank you for the 5, man. I appreciate that. We need you alive, don't die. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna die. I don't think that's what's gonna happen. It's just no, like this morning, like I had a really hard time waking up, and I felt like way more tired than I normally do when I wake up. So I don't really know what's up with that. And yeah, so I think I'm gonna cut stream early today. I'm gonna just like get some rest and just chill out and just do that, just vibe out for a little bit, and then we'll go back at it tomorrow. As long as I'm feeling good tomorrow, then we'll go ahead and we'll hang out. Autumn is time for people to start getting sinus infections. Yeah, like I that's the last thing that I want to do is get sick, right? I don't want to get sick or anything like that. Being sick would be it'd be not fucking good. That'd be not good for me. So I think I'm gonna slam some more water. I'm gonna lay down for a little bit and kind of just vibe out and whatnot. Make sure if you guys haven't joined the Discord, throw some React content in there. We'll get to the React content and stuff like that tomorrow. And we'll watch maybe some more stuff and whatnot as long as I'm feeling good. And we'll just kind of figure it out from there. You chill out. Yeah. Keep us informed. It's fine, dude. I just don't feel well. I don't think it's like I'm dying, guys. It's not that serious. It's just not feeling well. So I'm gonna go lay down for a little bit. Thank you guys for hanging out. Sorry I had to cut it so soon. I was hoping to be able to make a full stream, but we'll get at it later. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. I'll check you guys later.